How's it going, guys? It's time to address a comment. This was one about advice for starting a new job, 3 things I've learned. So let's just take a look. Okay, so on this video, maybe you saw it, maybe didn't. I don't know, watch it if you want. It's just some advice for starting a new job. And someone left a comment, and it's here. So I just want to respond because I kind of said I would. So here we go. I'll read the comment first so I can do this in the most legit way possible. All right. It says, can you make a video on looking for a job in the tech field / motivation for programming? I lost my job around a year ago during the peak of the virus and have no motivation to look for one or work on personal projects to improve my skills. Being let go without any notice left a bad taste in my mouth that still lingers today. Do you know what might be the best thing for me? Just lost and felt like lamenting. Even my friends who are very talented can't find a job. And then thanks for the tutorials. Learned quite a bit. Awesome. On the last part, not so awesome on this part. And, well, I've thought about this some, and I think it's a very common scenario that it really sucks. Basically, it's a really crappy scenario. All right, well, I'm just gonna riff on this. I kind of like made one video already, but I wasn't really happy with it. I don't think my advice was good enough or helpful enough. So I've been writing a few things down here and there about what might help. But what it comes down to is I don't know, and nobody does. But here's the thing about that, about me not knowing and nobody knowing. Some people will tell you they know. Some people will say, I know what's best for you, and then give you some thing to do or some method to follow. And the problem with that is, well, they're not you, so they're wrong. It is something you have to come to some kind of conclusion yourself. And listening to other people's advice and listening to other people's talks and listening to other people's methods might help, but ultimately it's got to be some conclusion you come to yourself. And that goes for everyone. And it's true for me too. I'm going to be a little bit honest and raw here with you guys. I've been in a funk for like a while too. It hasn't been going as well as I would have hoped, we'll say, but it's been going fine. Like, channel's still growing, slowly but surely. It's really hard to get patrons on the patron page, so I don't know what to do with that, really. Occasionally I'll get a new one, but then occasionally I'll lose one. So I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest. I've been trying to figure out what to do, and I'm going to do some things. I've got some kind of little plans that I'm going to try on. But that's just one thing, you know? And I don't know if that's relevant or not, but all right, I'll get to my list because I'm kind of just rambling at this point. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't feel like the type of person, or I don't feel like the person that's in a way right now that I should be giving this sort of advice. And that's not entirely true because there's some things like I know that if I wanted to go get whatever job I wanted, I could probably do it. I feel I have that confidence. But here's also the thing. You might see a job that you think, okay, if I could get this one, I would do it. And you apply and you do your best. And you think, this is the one, I'm going to get it. And it doesn't happen. Someone else gets selected. And then what? It's happened to me. I've seen jobs and I thought, hey, I would really like to do this. So I put my best foot forward and I didn't get it. But I usually ended up getting something else that was fine and maybe even better. Or, you know, that sort of thing happens. So you can't plan everything. You can't guarantee anything. It's sort of like trying to bet on the stock market. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, and you can't really predict it. No matter what signs you see, no matter how much GameStop should be going down, it's still going up. That's just an example, but there's so many different little nuggets out there that can kind of hit home, but ultimately it doesn't matter how much they hit home if they don't, you know, make the action come out or make you change your mind or make the switch flip. All right, to the list. So these are pretty random order. So I'm just going to kind of riff on what I got here. So the first thing I wrote on this list is the wide variety of advice online is wrong. And I kind of already covered that with, everybody's just got to make their own decision about these things. So you lost the motivation to program. Well, here's the first things I think of. When I want motivation to program, I need a goal, and the goal needs to have a purpose. And I haven't really had that recently. I really, really want to make a game, but when I fire up Unreal Engine or Unity Engine or Godot, I can't stand the way these programs are made. I don't like them. I'm not a big fan of Unreal, not a big fan of Unity. They feel annoying. I feel like I can't make the game I want in them without some abnormally high amount of hours put into it. I feel like it should be way easier to do what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm making my own game engine. It gives me some motivation to just work on my own game engine, which is also very hard because there's so much to figure out, and it's just me. Like I have to figure out all these shaders, I have to figure out all the PBR stuff, I have to figure out all the animations, I have to figure out how to organize all the code, all this C and C++ code in a way that makes sense. And it's way too much for one person, but I'm doing it anyway, and I'm still trying to do it. And I don't know. I put up an ad to try to hire someone to help work on the shaders, but 0 people have applied. So I don't know. Maybe it's not getting the visibility. Maybe not enough people know. There's all these things that it could be, but what it comes down to is I'm not trying very hard. So I have to ask myself, why? And that's what you should be asking yourself too, is why? Why have you lost motivation for programming? Was it because you lost your job? Or is it because you don't have a solid goal in mind? I remember a couple years ago, I guess it's been about 3 years now, I programmed nonstop. I can't do that anymore. The reason I program nonstop is because I had a very direct goal in mind and I wanted to see it through. So I would just work on this thing all day. And another thing that helped, I don't know if this is relevant or not, but I had less distractions. I wasn't playing video games. I was actually stuck in a really boring job. And what was more fun than my really boring job was programming. So in all the downtime, I would program. As soon as I get a break, I would program. It was way better than my actual job. But now that I've been just kind of mostly sitting at home, there's a lot more fun things to do. I can go do whatever I want. So with all those options, coding is not exactly at the top of the list of fun things that are available. So maybe that's relevant. Maybe you're too distracted. All right. I wrote down a lot of these philosophies that I come across online, like the Stoic philosophy, or sometimes it's called something along the lines of the red pill. They're kind of intertwined a little bit, although they're different. And I'm not an expert in these. I just kind of see them and, do some investigations, watch some things. But those will just tell you to kind of suck it up and go apply for jobs and go get one. And maybe that's the answer for some people, but I don't feel like that's a very good answer. So there's probably things you can do to make little steps in the right direction. Like you start working out every day, or at least a little a day, or start eating better. Maybe your mind will start critically thinking a little bit better and you can figure out these things that are bothering you and find some motivation. Not sure, you know, that's like I said, ultimately, with all of this, it's something you have to decide. There's nobody that's going to tell you the perfect advice. If you're searching around, hunting around for the perfect advice, waiting for the perfect advice to come your way, it never will. You'll grow old, you'll miss out on all kinds of stuff, and your life will be over, because that's the reality of things. So, I don't know what you got to do, but you got to do it. And that's what gets me going. Some days I think, where's the time going, you know? And I have to metaphorically slap myself back into reality. Like, why am I just wasting a whole day? I've got to get something done, you know? There's a lot of psychiatry type stuff you could listen to, like Dr. K, the healthy gamer guy. He does a lot of interviews with people that have a wide variety of problems. Maybe some of that will help. Sometimes I find those help me, certain ones anyway. So they're pretty interesting. I've learned a lot from him, and I know a lot of people online do. Maybe you already have. So maybe that's useful advice. There's a lot of stuff from Jordan Peterson and his lectures. Some of that's okay. I don't agree with all of it, but it seems to help some people, and it actually helped me a lot when I was going through college, because it lit the fire for me to not give up in a lot of occasions, because I wanted to give up at times, and I didn't. And sometimes some days when I just had no motivation and I felt like giving up, I would just put on one of his videos, and he would, just hearing him kind of gave me the harsh reality of, I got to be responsible, you got to be responsible. No matter who you are, there's someone out there counting on you. You said even your friends who are very talented can't find a job. Well, maybe if you can find a way to do it, that'll somehow inspire them, and they'll find a way to do it. And suddenly everyone's figuring stuff out and moving along just because you did. So it's interesting how you can be an inspiration almost accidentally sometimes, just by, just powering through. And I have a lot more to say on that, but I'll keep it brief and just say that's kind of what I've done. I have a lot of friends from back in the day that didn't really go anywhere. They went kind of down a dark path, and well, I tried not to. I tried to advance, to get better, to move forward, to follow the dreams that I had. And maybe I might not be there yet, but I'm still working on it. And I think they see that. Now, I know one of them, I saw him post something recently. He's finally getting over some of these bad habits. Who knows? It's social media that I'm seeing this on, so you never know if it's fake or what, but part of me thinks that maybe he saw that I was and thought he could do it too. So you could be that person, or you could see someone else like that could do it. But I don't want to say it was all me, because there were people I saw that were doing that sort of thing that definitely helped me too. I don't know if that makes sense, but just kind of an observation. There's another thing I saw online. This guy named Simon Sinek. He gives a bunch of speeches about corporate stuff, and he has this video on trust and performance, and it's all about the people who become leaders, or the trustworthy ones. Or I think he said that people who should become leaders are the trustworthy ones. So, and what tends to happen is the ones that have the best performance become leaders, but the ones that have the best performance are not necessarily the most trustworthy or the best leaders. Something along those lines. So I think the point is here, I guess if you want to be a leader or move forward or grow, is you just need to be honest. It necessarily matter how performant you are, although it matters some, sure, but it's more about being trustworthy. So if anything, just be honest, mostly with yourself, but with everyone around you. And given that you've already, kind of left this comment, I think you're probably coming to terms with things and are probably on your way upward. All right, there's another thing. I don't know where this originated from, but it's the backwards law. And it's how things kind of happen the opposite of what you expect, or the opposite of what you're trying to do. Like, if you're searching for happiness, you're probably going to be sad. If you're lamenting and feeling terrible and just letting all the rage out, you're probably going to feel good. It's this backwards thing where you almost have to just kind of stop searching and just kind of go with it. Whatever you feel, go with it. It's weird. I'm not sure how to fully explain it. Someone might be able to do it better, but there's an interesting thing there where people that are always trying to act positive or be positive are often quite sad, and the ones who are bitter or cranky are usually actually pretty happy. So I don't know, it's something I've kind of noticed too. Not always true, and I might not be explaining that very well. But another thing I've learned recently, I don't know why I'm wearing these headphones. It's not like I'm listening to anything. Oh well. Don't let people affect you. Now, this is one that I've had to learn over the last few years, especially doing YouTube, is you just simply can't let people affect you. There's a lot of people that are going to try to tell you things. Like me, for example. You can just like not listen to me at all. Just who cares? Who cares what I say? Doesn't matter. You can do that with anyone and anything. There's no particular reason why you need to let people affect you. And I wish that some people would learn this when you're young, but when you're young, people affect you very strongly. When you get older, people stop affecting you so much. So maybe you're young and this is one of your first jobs and you had a really bad experience. And you don't know about this trick of just not letting that company affect you. There's no reason to bring baggage into a new job or a new place or forward in your life. There really just isn't. It's kind of pointless. You just learn from it and move on. There's a lot to say on that, but okay, here's another one. There's this guy Godin. Seth Godin. He talks a lot about being creative and finding your creative space. And he has a lot of interesting advice. But one of the things he says that really hit home for me was basically to ignore criticism. As you might know, I get a lot of criticism. If I go look at my old videos, some of them are like 50% downvotes, or maybe even a quarter downvotes, only 80% positive likes, And that kind of hurts to see. But that was a long time ago, and I already know I can do better. And there's a lot more to it. But basically, I just have to ignore all that criticism because people still leave comments from videos like 3 years ago, like about what I could do better on that video. And I'm like, geez, man, you're really, really beating that dead horse. So, like, what am I supposed to do about that? Nothing. I just have to ignore it. So there's just a lot of comments I get every day that, well, not every day. Okay, I should say the vast majority of comments I get are positive. They're thanks for help and thanks for the tutorial, stuff like that. And I really appreciate that. That's really heartwarming. So those are the ones I think of when I think, should I continue my channel or should I do something else? I always think of all these positive comments, and those are the ones that drive me forward. If I only thought of all the critical ones, I would quit. I would probably actually just go jump off a cliff if I thought of only the critical comments, because some of them are pretty mean. But all I could do is laugh at them. Maybe I'll make a video on all the mean comments, because they are quite funny. There's some. There was one, I can't remember what it said exactly, but it was something about, it was on the monitor unboxing. Someone left a comment like, it was like, this is so boring. It's like watching my mom set up a monitor or something. And every time I read that comment, I bust out laughing. It's just the funniest comment because I can see my mom trying to set up a monitor and it would be painful, incredibly painful. So, like, even these negative comments are sometimes like good in a way. So, yeah, just ignore criticism that isn't helpful. All right, here's a few more things. Listen to the people that actually get it. You know, a lot of people are going to try to give you advice that do not know your situation or what you're trying to do. So when you do have like a close friend that's kind of in the same boat with you, that's the person whose advice maybe you should consider. A few other things. I don't know if this is entirely relevant, but I wrote it down, so I'll say it. All right. And it's from the same guy. It was okay. This was Seth Godin on the Jordan Harbinger podcast. So that's the source. Said it kind of came up that everybody has deep insecurity. Like me right now making this video, I have no idea if this is going to be helpful. I'm a bit insecure about it, but do I care? Well, it's not the right way to word it. It's just like I'm going to do it anyway. That's basically how I've released videos so much. You know, you see there's a lot of people. I've known a lot of these people. I've known tons of them. There are so many of them. In fact, it's nearly everyone in my local world I'm surrounded with. Nearly every single person, 100% of them would love to do what I'm doing, but none of them do it. I'm the only one. I don't know a single other person making YouTube videos, although all of them say they would like to. But why can't they? I'm literally just turning on a camera and answering a comment and going through some things. And then people are inspired by this. So I guess my advice is, you know, it's like, I don't want to say just do it because that's so obvious, but you got to get over the fear, I guess, somehow. I don't know the answer. I'm kind of probably a special case because I kind of don't have fear, which I know sounds crazy, but that's how I get through life. That's how I advance. Things don't frighten me. I don't get starstruck. I can meet famous people and I don't really care. And I'll talk normal to them or I'll treat them like anybody else. And it hasn't always been like that, but at some point in my life that like clicked. I think it was in my early 20s where I don't know, something kind of clicked or changed for me where I kind of realized that life is just like this one-time thing and there's no reason to like overblow things that are just other people living. Like who cares? It's just other people living. That's what I'm doing. So why do you want me to be all goo goo gaga about you when we're just in the same boat, you know? So maybe that's something that'll help because that's kind of my mentality is I literally don't get why people are special. I don't get why PewDiePie is special. I don't get why Mr. Beast is special. You know, all these big YouTubers. I don't get what's special about them other than they hire people to edit their videos. I guess I could hire people to edit my videos. Maybe that would make me special. I don't know. But, you know, you can take that going forward because say you'll have to adapt this in your own way. But if you want motivation, you can find it in that because, you know, a lot of people stop at, oh, I'm going to be criticized or people are going to think I'm stupid or whatever. That's fine with me. I'm fine with people thinking I'm stupid. It doesn't bother me. Like, it's always going to happen. You can be the smartest person in the world. You can make the most brilliant discoveries in the world and people are still going to think you're stupid. There's no stopping it. There's no getting around it. You might as well just push on. You might as well just do what you want to do anyway. You might as well just do what you want to do. I live by that. I really do. All right, let's see what else we got. There's this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And I'm not going to say it on my channel because I don't want to get ads taken off. You know, I need everyone I can get at this point. I'm struggling here to, you know, make it month to month. So, yeah, The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. Look it up. There's audiobooks of it online. There's summaries of it. It's it's helped me, I guess. I listened to it and it's kind of already my mentality. So it was just kind of like reiterating what I already knew. But it's very interesting to see it said so blatantly with so many examples. I couldn't read the whole book. It was a bit long. It was kind of repetitive after a while because like literally the title says the whole book. So how much can you really read before you're like, all right, it's just the same thing over and over. But that's what I got. Let me see. Is there anything else? Yeah, that's it. So stop listening to people. Stop caring. Just go do it. Go do what you want. This is your life. Forget everyone else. Doesn't matter if someone's more successful or less successful. Oh, geez, I'm really going on like a nihilistic rampage now. I don't want to go. I don't want to do that. But you probably got an idea of how I keep going and maybe some ideas of how you can keep going. Because ultimately, it doesn't matter what I do or what I say. Maybe it'll help you a little. Maybe you can take something from this. But I've never heard one single, like one thing that was like, all right, that's it. Now I've got what I need. I'm moving forward. That's never happened. It's always been like me just taking in lots of different things and coming up with my own conclusions. So I imagine that's probably what you got to do too. All right. Well, keep working on things, keep coding, keep slamming away at those problems. And, geez, I want to cuss so bad, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to risk it because, that this is like the situation where you just want to say, F it kind of thing. And that's what it is. Uh, I wouldn't advise that, going into, it's still the same for going into a job. You got to look professional. You got to be professional. You got to show them that you care about the position and all that stuff. That's pretty normal. It's pretty standard. But it's really important to realize that everyone's about the same. We're all human. We're all struggling with life and going through life, and we all have our ups and downs. And no one expects you to be perfect because everybody knows deep down inside, we've all got some kind of thing we're working through, and we just don't need the crap of everybody being down on each other for no particular reason. That's kind of one thing I learned too, is if someone doesn't treat you well, you should judge them very harshly and you should probably rail them. It's one thing I learned that has improved my life a ton. I stopped taking people's negativity or terrible treatment. Like, I don't know when it happened, but there's always some instance in your life where someone's kind of, not treating you right, or you can tell they don't like you or something like that. Don't accept that. Come back at them. Say something. No matter who it is. Doesn't matter how famous they are or impressive they are, or how much further ahead they are, or how much better at whatever it is that they are. Still not acceptable. I'll leave you with one last story here because it just popped into my head and it's kind of relevant. And it was at my first programming job. It was a really cool job. I had a lot of really important duties, and we were working on this paper for. Well, it was for. Long story short, it was for this protein research thing, and I was helping with the programming and this algorithm and getting the program up and running that did its thing. And the main person who was like, the leader of the lab, the owner of the lab, the head honcho. He was not nice to anybody in his lab. He was very kind of like cranky and annoying and mean and cruel to like everybody in his lab. And he didn't show that at first, but after I was in the lab for a while and working on this stuff, I started to see it. I would see him do it to other people. I would hear stories of what happened in the past, hear stories about people that quit because they couldn't stand him. And then one day he tried to do it to me. And you know what happened? I let him have it. First of all, I raised my voice just a little bit. And I told him how it was. And he didn't know what to do. I could give you the exact story, but it's not really that relevant, I guess. No, okay, I'll try to paraphrase because I don't remember it like 100%. But basically, I had to give a presentation for our meeting. So I was given a presentation, and there was a bunch of, I don't know, I was just presenting the stuff I was doing for the program basically. But he was like on this kick where he suddenly apparently wanted me to know everything about biology because he was asking me questions that I had no idea what the answer was. Well, what is the beginning of a protein? I'm like, I don't know. What? You tell me. I'm just over here trying to get this program to work right that you sort of wrote, um, which I did, and it was great. So, but he did it in a very mean way. He was like very cranky about it, and I was just honest with him. But I came back at him like, look, why would I know this stuff? Like, I'm trying to study this stuff, but it's not my main field of study. If you want to ask me specific details about biology, of course I'm not going to know them. If you want me to know specific things, you're going to have to tell me because I'm not going to study every little thing. I said something like that back to him, like in front of everybody while I was presenting, like in front of all his peers. And everybody just got silent, and I just kind of stared him down. And that was it. I moved on. Then like I just went on with my presentation like nothing happened basically. And he was like he just stopped. He just kind of shut up. And later on, I wrote him a letter and I said, I'll be leaving the lab in 1 month. And I told him where I was going, what I was doing, very, as professional as I could. But deep down, I knew that I was like, yeah, sure, if this was a great job and great peers and everything, I probably would have stayed. But given these few incidents and all these things I heard, it's like I'm not going to treat anybody any worse. But I'm also, I was still trying to be kind to everybody. But if someone's going to do something like that to me up while I'm presenting, heck no, I'm not going to take it. People wouldn't normally do that. This guy was a special case. He was kind of a mean weirdo. In that way. I hope he doesn't watch this video because then I'll have to address this. Or maybe it'll make him really sad. I don't know. Or maybe it'll kick him in the gear and he'll stop doing that to people because it's pretty ridiculous to have to work with someone like that. But it didn't bother me. I went and got another job. It was way better and paid a whole lot more, and everybody was way cooler. So I'm glad I left. It was the right choice. But also, there was a thing that happened after I left. Okay, I'm extending the story, a little bonus for you guys, I guess, where I was already working at the new job, and it was awesome. It was going good. But he was like, "Hey, I need you to come back and finish this one last thing for the paper. I don't know how to do it. I just need you." It was like getting Docker running and getting this whole thing running in Docker, basically. And I was like, "Sure, I can do it. I know how to use Docker. It's not a big deal." I was like, "All right, so what's the plan? Like, when do you want me to work on this? What's the compensation?" And he was like, "Oh, no, 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 no compensation. You just need to come in and finish it. It's because your name's on the paper." And I was like, "No, that's not how it's gonna work. Look, I'm already working 40 hours a week plus commuting, plus I have a family. I'm not just gonna spend a bunch of extra time working on this thing for you." And so I threw a number at him. I was like, "I don't know, pay me this much and I'll do it." And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Okay." So I picked up my bag and I started to leave. And he was like, "Wait, wait, wait." And he said, I don't know what he said, but he said like, oh, he tried to like threaten me with something. And he was like, "Your name doesn't have to be on this paper." And I just was like, "You do whatever you think is right." And I kept walking away. I left. And that was it. And he did end up putting my name on the paper, which was the right thing to do, obviously, because I worked on it a bunch. But like, he literally tried to threaten me with that. So, pretty happy to not be working with that awful boss again. But also, I didn't let it bother me going forward. Some people are just like that, and it's not your fault. So, do your thing, be yourself. Good luck to you, whoever you are out there that manages to be watching this. And yeah, this is unedited, so sorry for maybe the weird blunders or sentences that I've made, but it is what it is. And yeah, all right, I'm out. See you guys.